What if I offer you to lose weight without dieting, without Ozempic, without effort and restriction? Would it sound attractive to you? If you are traumatized by diet culture and previous dieting experiences, when you followed harsh diet, lost weight, but then fell off the wagon and regained weight and started binging and got into vicious circles of binging and restricting, then probably the idea of another diet and another period of restriction may feel dangerous to you. You may feel certain anxiety when you think about restricting again. And I understand here, because I also went through the periods of restriction, then binging, then letting myself eating everything and anything I want, and arrived at the idea that restriction can be healthy. And based on my own therapy and evidence-based psychology, we now know that it doesn't matter what diet we use, what workout routine we have, how strict our diet is. It's more about how we treat ourselves in the process of weight loss, of changing lifestyle, and so on. It's about whether we allow ourselves mistakes, how flexible our rules are they rigid, are they flexible, what are our motives, and how much value, how much self-worth do we base on how we look like. In this video we will talk, and in previous videos I suggested you to test yourself if you are ready to restrict compassionately, to put in effort into weight loss, but from a healthy psychological place. And the key question here is, do I feel energy, excitement and curiosity when I'm offered to try new things when it comes to lifestyle, to weight loss? Or do I feel drained, burnt out and feel anxiety when I hear anything about dieting and exercise? If you're not ready yet and you still feel burnt out after countless efforts to lose weight and countless episodes of self-attack and feeling inadequate and feeling shame, then I can offer you 6 ideas of what you can focus on to enhance your life, to improve your quality of life while you are still recovering from dieting, from constant restriction, from chronic restriction. First, and all these 6 points are just suggestions. Not all will be applicable to you, not all of them you will like, not all of them will resonate with you. So choose what can be good for you, and please write in comments what could be helpful for you, or maybe what you have tried already and if it worked or not, and what you're going to try. First, target emotional eating. Very often we gain weight because we eat the food we actually don't want to eat, we don't need, our body doesn't need, we don't have energy needs for this food. And why do we eat it? When we eat it when we're stressed, when we're tired, when we're going through difficult emotions, when we're dissatisfied with ourselves or our life. So instead of restricting food your body really needs, it's better to restrict food that your body doesn't need. But I suggest not to restrict food, but to become curious about the episodes when you eat without hunger. And how do we know that we eat without hunger? Well, to be honest, true physical hunger cannot be confused with anything. When you are physically hungry, you know this 100%. If you're not physically hungry 100%, then most probably this hunger is emotional or hedonic. So instead of trying to restrict unnecessary food, instead of trying to control yourself when eating emotionally, better focus on exploration. Track what you feel before and after eating. And if you're eating in the absence of hunger, explore what was going on. What happened before this emotional eating episode? Early in the day and then later at night. For example, by tracking my eating and emotions, I would find that I often overeat when I am tired. When I have a need in rest and recovery, I try to satisfy it with food. This is my bug in the system. So when I register that I am tired, I quickly need to go to shower and go to bed and be focused not to eat on the way. Once I feel like I can rest now, I don't have to do anything at the moment, then I can check in with myself. Do I still need food? Am I still hungry? This is my example. You may find that you're triggered by unpleasant conversations with colleagues or your partner. Some people find that they're chronically dissatisfied with themselves, and this is what triggers desire to eat. When we're dissatisfied, when we don't feel good about ourselves, it can be really hard to experience it, hard to tolerate it. No wonder we're reaching for something sweet. It also can be dangerous to be bad. For example, I'm not coping at work. I made a mistake. Our tricky mind may register it as I'm bad, I'm not worthy, I'm an imposter. And when we talk about our self-worth as a person or my identity, it becomes an existential issue, right? And it's dangerous to be bad, to be not worthy, to be not accepted. And when we feel danger, our nervous system is activated. And what's our primary need? To soothe it. And very often, food, eating, calorific food, can be really soothing. And here we can have two options, either even three options. To go have food and self-soothe temporarily, but it doesn't work long-term, right? Once you are agitated, once your nervous system activated, once you feel threat again, the threat of being bad, you want food again. And then when you eat again and again and again, it doesn't solve the problem, and second problem accumulates. Now you feel regret, shame, or anger at yourself for having all that unnecessary food. Second option is to sit with your negative emotions. If I feel bad and I want food, I know that I'm not physically hungry. I need to sit down with my emotions and ride the wave of craving. Have you heard of this exercise? When we notice certain states, certain emotions, we try to detect where it is in the body, and then we follow this feeling. How does it change in our body? Can we name it? Can we just sit with it? And in this way we sit with this discomfort, and this discomfort gradually decreases. So we're surfing this urge, and then we are riding it down to the shore. So urges come and go in waves. So theoretically, we can sit with all the urges. We can surf all of them. If you have a really loud self-critic and you're never good enough, so you're constantly under threat, then you'll have to sit with these urges all the time. Good luck to you if you are up for it. I tried it. I managed for many months. It worked, but then I just gave up. Instead, third option can be to work with this constant state of dissatisfaction with self, with constant threat of being not enough, not adequate, not worthy, not good enough. Changing the way you think about yourself, about your mistakes, especially at the times you struggle, when you have tough time at work, when you have tough time in your relationships, when you're underslept, when you make mistakes. This all can be worked on in therapy. And then imagine life when you don't have so many urges, when food is no more needed as a coping strategy. You just decrease the amount of negative emotions you have to cope with. What you can do next, once you decrease the amount of episodes when you need to cope with something. When you detect it, your patterns, find non-food coping strategies. For example, when I am tired, I go to shower and go to bed. This is my non-food coping strategy. My other non-food coping strategy is going for a run. Even in the middle of the day, I notice certain emotional discomfort and I cannot put a finger on it. I don't know what is it. I cannot even name it. I just feel bad. This happens to me too. The fact that I'm a psychotherapist doesn't mean I figured everything out about myself. But I have a coping strategy, running on a treadmill. I have a treadmill in the gym upstairs. It's very convenient. So whenever I feel bad, I can jump on a treadmill for 10 minutes. And in this way to self-regulate through the body. My other non-food coping strategy is to pay attention at my thinking about myself at the moment and whether I'm putting pressure on myself. Very often, my nervous system gets activated when I feel overwhelmed with tasks and I'm not performing them efficiently and effectively enough. This is where pressure on myself activates. And this is when I want food, because I need to self-soothe. And this is when I work cognitively with it. I say myself, okay, I will miss this deadline. Nobody will die. But my well-being, mental and physical, is more important. Yes, I may lose that opportunity. Yes, I may not earn that money. But my physical and mental well-being is more important. And you can use a rule here. I eat everything and anything I want, whenever I want, when I am in a calm state, when I am emotionally grounded. When I'm not emotionally grounded, I know this is a symptom. Craving food is a symptom. And it signals me about some important unsatisfied needs. Let's go and find out what they are. Instead of focusing on how I can not eat this donut, how can I not think about chocolate? It's better to switch on curiosity and explore what's going on for me now. If I'm wanting the chocolate, although I'm stuffed. Second, softening the inner critic. I have already touched this point in the previous part. Inner critic can be one of the reasons of why we emotionally eat, because when we criticize ourselves, our nervous system is in threat mode, because again, it's really dangerous to be bad, not enough, not good enough. So working with the inner critic is really important, and it's really hard to work with the inner critic on your own. Because very often inner critic is so deep inside that it's our default mode, that it becomes normal to self-criticize in a toxic way, to self-attack, to treat ourselves not with warmth, understanding and support and compassion, but with cold disgust. Unfortunately, for many people with eating problems, that's exactly what's going on inside. Inner dialogue is really, really cruel. What does it involve, working with the inner critic? Is learning to respond to mistakes with curiosity, not shame. As I explained, if I'm craving chocolate, and if I even ate chocolate without being hungry, I ate it emotionally. Instead of shaming yourself, blaming yourself, get curious. What's going on? What triggered it? How I can care about myself? Do I need self-soothing? Can I turn to anyone for help? And I'll repeat that inner shame, inner attack, fuels overeating more than anything else. Please notice. Second one is working with your inner critic. Not restricting food, but restricting your inner critic. Not going on a certain diet related to what to eat and what not to eat, but put your inner critic on a diet. Starve it to death. And I want to remind you that inner critic can be good and constructive, and this one we want to keep, the one that moves us forward. But the toxic inner critic that punishes us, that beats us up, that is involved into self-loathing, it actually paralyzes us. It doesn't help us develop. Third, try eating in response to body signals, not external cues. Keep attuning to your body and eat when you're hungry. Do not eat when you're not hungry. Notice early fullness. Stop a little bit early. Give yourself 20 minutes to really notice whether I need more food or I satisfied my hunger. It takes time. Very often when we stop before we eat something else, when we stop at the point, I would like something more. I would like to finish my lunch with something sweet. Very often we just need to go through this phase for 20-30 minutes and then we'll forget about food and we'll think, oh, actually I'm quite stuffed. That more food would make me even more stuffed and I will be sleepy, sluggish, and I'll regret eating that extra piece. And try to learn to distinguish between physical and emotional hunger, but as I said, physical hunger cannot be confused with anything. When we are hungry, we are hungry. What can be the rule here? I eat what I want and when I want, but I start eating when I am truly physically hungry, and I stop when I am 80% full. Choose what will be your percent, 70, 80, whatever works for you, whatever makes you feel your best. Fourth, try to change your food environment. Try not to eat on the go, try not to eat while you work or while you are watching YouTube. Be very mindful, make the food delicious and notice this deliciousness. Notice smell, notice texture, notice flavors. Create pleasant rituals around eating. Decorate your table nicely. Yes, every time. Play a nice restaurant at home. And then you put everything you want to eat on a plate, everything, and enjoy it to the maximum. Compare biting here and there, having a bite of cookie, having a bite of chocolate, then having a spoon of hummus, and then having a banana, and then a couple of spoons of peanut butter. This is what's happening between meals, for example. What if you put everything, all of this, on a plate and sit down and legally eat it? So the task is I eat everything and anything if it is on my plate, and I sit down and calmly eat it, truly enjoying every single bite. Fifth, move for joy, not to burn your calories. Find physical activities that you actually enjoy. If you don't like running, try tennis. If you don't like weightlifting, try ballet, but proper ballet. Or proper Pilates, reformer Pilates. Try to add a movement into your daily routine. Do you walk enough steps? Even if you exercise, you still need to be physically active, 7,000-8,000 steps every day. Even if you exercise properly. Listen to your body. Does your body crave stretching? I bet it does. And focus on how it feels, not how many calories it burns. For example, I really enjoy running short distances. I enjoy interval training. I enjoy getting into zone 4 or 5, near maximum heart rates, while running uphill. It's sort of painful, but it's also enjoyable, and especially the feeling after. But I know many people who try to start running and they push themselves too hard, and they never do it again because the experience was terrible. But what they needed to do was to put on their heart rate monitor and to run a little bit and then walk, run a little bit and then walk, to stay in zone 2, maximum zone 3 as a first workout, and then develop gradually. And then you will be able to run the same distance easier and easier and easier, and this will be your progress. Or for example, you will run the same distance in the same time but with lower heart rate. Please pay attention to the heart rate. It will tell a lot about intensity. In general, when you start exercising and you're exercising from zero, or you had a big break, do not push with intensity. Start very, very gently. Build it up gradually. Let movement become a way to care for your body, and in my case, for my nervous system, and not a punishment for eating. Separate exercise and eating. You will never be able to over-exercise bad diet. Exercise is for metabolic fitness, exercise is for metabolic health, for appetite regulation, for better mood, for self-regulation, for general health. And 6, improve sleep quality and manage stress. You probably know everything about sleep hygiene. Sleep is important. If you start with only that thing, if you fix only one thing and it is sleep, you'll do probably 80% of the job, because sleep influences so many things, starting with glucose management, finishing with mood. And managing stress, nutritionists and personal trainers talk about it so much. And we know that we can try relaxation techniques and breathing and meditating, but gosh, this is so ineffective. To manage stress, you either need to restructure your life so that you're not constantly overloaded, or you need a psychotherapist to help you do it, or you need a psychotherapist to help you manage it. It's really hard to manage stress on your own. And I would be really grateful if you share in comments, what do you think about it? Because breathing, relaxation, and mindfulness are useful tools, but they can often be just as a band-aid on a broken leg. They do not solve inner problem. Where is the pressure coming from? Where is the stress coming from? How I can improve my quality of life so that I don't have to breathe all the time, to do box breathing all the time. All in all, healing from traumatic dieting experience is not about perfection. Choose what you want to work on, try working on it, do not expect perfection from yourself. Give yourself a lot of room for mistakes, for errors. Be really attentive to yourself. Learn to listen to yourself and notice the level of fullness, the level of hunger, the level of fatigue. Not just push yourself till you switch off, or push yourself till you get a burnout. Notice it on the early stage, when you really need a recovery, so that you do not get that burnout, so that you don't get to that point at night. Oh, when I talk about burnout, I'm talking about longer term. When I talk about tiredness and fatigue at night, I'm talking about the scale of a day, so that you do not work at night till you drop. Maybe go to bed when you are 8 out of 10 on the scale of fatigue, so that you still have energy to have shower. So start learning how to respond to your needs with care and not with more control, more pressure. Because pressure, when you put pressure on yourself and when you're stressed, putting even more pressure on yourself by wanting to lose weight, not just wanting, but demanding from yourself to lose weight, stick to exercise routine, stick to diet, will only create more problems. I hope you enjoyed this video series. I probably explained everything about healthy effort, about achieving without self-punishment, without putting pressure on yourself, but creating healthy boundaries and taking care of yourself. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel if you would like to lose weight without self-abuse. Check out links below and see you soon.